You may look at these mountains behind me and see a landscape devoid of life. But over the next couple of days of camping, hiking, and off-road adventure, we're gonna find out what lies beyond. Somewhere in these mountains lies one of the largest collections of ancient petroglyphs in the Western Hemisphere. Dating back 10,000 years, the peoples who inhabited these lands were nomadic, and so traces of them can be found almost anywhere, from grinding slicks to pictographs to shattered fragments of obsidian. We had been planning this trip for several months now, exploring maps, studying the roads, locating areas where we thought we might find the story of ancient man. And now, with the blooming days of spring, it was time to set out to see what we could discover. So we are already well past the spot that Brian and I thought we were going to camp at, but that's what adventure is all about. Finding new paths, new routes, and discovering the unexpected. There he is up ahead. It's not too often that you can set off down a dirt road and have the area completely to yourself. But that is exactly what happened on this trip. The farther along we got, the farther we felt from civilization, and the closer we became to the past. One thing I will say is that off-roading with friends is so much more fun. Having a caravan and knowing you've got someone behind you who's got your back makes all the difference. I had been secretly hoping we'd make it up to this area on this trip, and as those huge boulders came into view in the distance, my brain was tingling with imagination of what we would find. I had seen these boulders from afar on a previous trip, but as we neared, they became even more magnificent than I had thought. I couldn't wait to explore. The first order of business was to get the Jeep leveled for a comfortable night of sleep. I find it useful to have both leveling blocks and an app to measure angles to get the Jeep as flat as possible.
There. Oh, you're right up top. Hey, that looks pretty good.
Out of the road enough to...
I mean, mine's pretty slanted still. But...
All right, we're trying really hard to get the car level. The front side to side is at 0 degrees, which is really good, but the front to back is at 6 degrees. The deep sleep comes up a little bit, maybe a degree or two. Regardless, what a fantastic place to camp for the night. The rock shelters here have been used for upwards of 10,000 years, and the same thing that attracted us to camp here would have also attracted ancient travelers on their migratory journey in search of food, water, and other materials. Arriving here in early May, I had assumed the hills would be completely browned, but was surprised to find that the wildflowers here were in peak bloom, including the Joshua trees. Millions of flowers of an array of varieties painted the landscape everywhere we looked. After admiring the landscape, it was time to get camp set up, and I was excited to try out my new awning. After years of frustration with the Roadhouse canopy, I finally decided to install a roof rack and streamline the overlanding experience. I was also excited to try out this new 12-volt cooler from Bodega. At 26 liters, it's plenty big for a few nights of camping and keeps the goods cold in the desert heat. While setting up camp, my suspicions were confirmed when I noticed several pieces of obsidian lying on the ground. We decided it was time to take a walk and see what else we could find. It's easy to feel an ancient presence in these rocks, but would we find any signs of former human habitation? These rocks are a safe haven for many impressive animals, such as the kit fox and coyote, and raptors such as the barn owl and the great horned owl, who we would hear circling our camp later that night. The area was full of innumerable caves and rock shelters, and I sensed that if we looked long enough, we might come across something of significance. And then there was this cube-like rock. There's something about this rock. Littered everywhere were obsidian fragments, many shaped into arrowheads, some broken, and others that had clearly been snapped, but with no easily identifiable significance. This boulder would have provided shade throughout the day, as those seeking shelter would have moved around it with the passing sun. That's a good looking one. That looks like it's just about final touches, or maybe it broke at some point. Ah, look at this. Wow.
Very flat. Oh, those are grinding rocks for sure.
Looks like someone even left a stone here.
Yeah. Although that might not be
The whole thing is, I mean, it's a perfect,
it is. You're right. That's
perfect
grinding
hand
rock.
stone,
You're
perfect
right. It's a
mono.
perfect fit.
I wonder if it's been sitting here
I know.
for hundreds of years since it was last left.
I know.
That's very cool. I mean, obviously, it's a spot people spend time in. All this area right here is all disturbed. Connection to the past when you encounter spots like this that no one else has come to.
This big, who didn't even notice this? That's a battery board.
Wow. I've seen several of these. These must be some other kind of like use beyond like arrowheads, like you said, the addle or some kind of point. I'm impressed. It's like all these were like just about in the lineup for arrowheads. Clearly, the rock had great significance to the ancient people, as the lithic scatter was no more than 10 or 15 feet beyond its circumference. The more we looked, the more the site revealed to us. Arrowheads, the bones of hunted animals, ancient charcoal, now cold. The site felt like it hadn't been touched since the last native traveler finished their day's hunt and then departed on foot toward their next destination, leaving behind ample evidence of a world vastly different from our own. Was this handstone the same one used to nap flakes from a core of obsidian, just left here after the work had been done? I can't help but wonder what the ancients saw in these rocks and what secrets they still hold. The afternoon was hot, and as we made our way back to camp,
something told me to be extra cautious walking through this brush. And then my suspicions were confirmed. Camouflaged like a stick in the bushes was this western diamondback rattlesnake lying still, hoping to remain unseen.
There's a rattlesnake right there, completely blending in. Walk right by that guy. I don't even see him. Oh, there he is.
Is he coiled up?
No,
Did you disturb him?
nope.
Man, I was just walking through here thinking, boy, there's so many little lizards, there's gotta be snakes.
The afternoon was drawing to a close, and before long it would be dark, so it was time to cook up some delicious food before bed.
Good morning, guys. It is day 2 of our adventure. Got the coffee already made. It's about 6:45 a.m. Sun is well on its way, and looking forward to another day of adventure and outdoor excursion and see what else we can find up here.
After packing up, the sun high in the sky and the day warming, it was time to head deeper into the mountains in hopes of discovering more of their secrets. I almost didn't want to leave this place. It was that beautiful, but I told myself that I would be back one day.
Alrighty, day 2. We have just left our camp spot. It's just about 9 a.m. and we're off to find us some more places to explore. What will today bring? the drop. All right, well, the road that we were gonna take to get to the canyon that we're trying to get to is completely filled with tumbleweeds. Let me give you a quick look here. So that is not drivable. Instead, we're gonna take a parallel road and see if this one will do the trick to get us up into the canyon for a day of hiking. The brush is a little bit high, but that's really no reason not to push forward. We're also going to be looking for a place to camp tonight, and it's flat and pretty open, so a nice place to potentially set up camp. All right, unfortunately, that did not last very long. We are now back in the tumbleweed wash, so we're gonna have to reevaluate. I mean, it's definitely drivable. The question is it tumbleweeds the whole way? And the thing is, these guys have some pretty sharp spikes on them, and so you do not want to get punctured and have to come all the way back out. All right, plan B. We are gonna head back down the road. There was a wide wash, so we're hoping to be able to walk through that wash tumbleweed free all the way into the canyon. All right, and we're off.
Our goal was to hike up the wash into the mouth of one of these canyons, hoping that we might discover petroglyphs, mining relics, or other signs of former habitation.
So this wash that we're walking up would take ancient travelers over through those mountains there, down this thoroughfare, and toward the Sierra. And probably one of the items that the people who came through here were trading was obsidian. Now, in this general vicinity, there is no obsidian quarries. So this piece here, which has been shaped and napped, tells us that people traveled from quarries farther up in these mountains through this wash, probably taking with them these obsidian pieces in order to sharpen arrowheads and probably even for trade. So I guess the tumbleweeds are naturally attracted to these drainages. They get caught in there, and then forever there is where they remain. That is really a spectacular sight. After yesterday's snake encounter in the bushes, every one of these sticks that I see cautions me. So you can really see the power of past storms that have come through this canyon here and have washed out all of this debris, Joshua trees, boulders, and so much more. And here is a bleached bone that looks like it would make a perfect writing utensil. Check this out, more obsidian. There goes a jackrabbit off in the distance and it's gone. Boy, it popped out of this bush, made a rustling, and then darted across the wash, never to be seen again.
I didn't know what we would find, but as soon as we neared these rocks, I knew we were getting close to something.
One of the things I look for on these hikes is proof of ancient life or signs of former habitation. And we're in an area that is very conducive to both of those because there's a canyon and these fascinating basaltic rocks, which if you watched our other episodes, you'd know that these are the type of rocks that the native peoples liked to create petroglyphs on. So we're gonna keep an eye out for the petroglyphs, but we're also gonna keep an eye out for old mining relics, such as rusted cans like this. As you can see here, there are several very old pieces, probably from the early 1900s or maybe even before. And this trail that we're on right now would be a perfect connector between a canyon just north of here and the one down south that we're about to go check out. And you can see behind me here, there are many, many volcanic rocks. And so sometimes they're not very obvious, but if you keep a close eye out, you will see etchings, peckings, and other types of scratches that may be hundreds to thousands of years old. You may see something over here. Let's go take a look. What do you see? You can barely see this petroglyph, but here's a nice example of a bighorn sheep. Wow.
That is ancient and it's big.
No. Wow. There's another one right down there. These things must be thousands.
Yes.
And look at this. This almost looks like an old grinding stone, an old mortero. And some of these other ones look like they might have, you know, these are all crumbled, but some old petroglyphs on them as well.
When I discover an old petroglyph that probably no one else has ever seen for years or centuries, there's a strange feeling that I don't know how to explain. An ache. It's like I have found a treasure or some secret message, and I'm immediately brought back thousands of years to a world that was so different from our own. And I feel lost understanding what that world may have been like for the person who made this glyph in this place at that time.
Check this out. I've come across this old road here, and it looks like it's been used recently. I wonder how people have gotten up here, because from back where we were camped, it didn't seem like there was any other roads in this area. But the canyon that we're headed to is just over this little hump here. Let's check out this perfectly intact bottle that Brian found sitting in the wash. Maybe an old whiskey bottle. That purple color is from the impurities in the glass being scorched by the UV rays of the sun over time. Not too often you find a perfectly intact bottle.
Looking at maps of these canyons, I never would have expected to encounter such impressive artifacts. Silent, desolate, and undisturbed, I felt as if we had stumbled back in time, and just being here was a reward in itself. It was time to head back and set up camp. The heat was almost unbearable, and as they say, the desert truly comes alive after sunset.
So yesterday, when we were driving into this area, I was looking at these mountains behind me and thinking how desolate and devoid of life they appear. But after a day and a half of off-road adventure, hiking, and camping, I think we're beginning to find an answer of what lies beyond.
On the way back, we discovered the remnants of another road, one that must have first been used in the late 1800s by pioneers with burros and ox carts, heading into the mountains in search of something gold.
Wow, this is really cool. Check this out. This is a very old pinyon pine or juniper stump, but you can see there are no pinyon pines anywhere in this area. There are pinyon pines way on top of those mountains up there. So what does that mean? It means that pinyon pines decades ago, if not centuries ago, that died off on the top of that mountain slowly made their way down this wash, and this one ended up right there. I want to show you something else that has the potential to be really interesting. Check this out. You see that right there? That is not a rock. That is a piece of metal. How incredible. Look how crumpled up it is. It almost looks like a piece of corrugated piping that might have been used as a drain or something like that. But after many, many years, decades, if not over a century, this piece of metal has been crushed by floods and debris and time in the desert, and now looks like a balled up piece of paper. How absolutely incredible to think about all the people that have inhabited or visited this area in the centuries and millennia since humans first stepped foot on this land. Check out this lizard on the rock, bathing himself right there, having a good time. One thing I've learned for sure after spending some time here in this area is that this is by no means a wasteland. You might see these mountains from afar and think there's nothing up here, but all it takes is a little bit of adventurous spirit, and it's amazing what you'll discover.
This is the cactus wren, famous for making their nests in the Joshua tree and other prickly plants so as to protect their young from predators.
And check this out, here's a Joshua tree flower that has fallen off of the tree. Let's go ahead and open this up and see what it looks like inside. I'm going to use this piece of quartz to slice it up and then break it open. Pretty moist. Kind of smells like agave. Very sweet. If you break open these wedges here, there's probably some seeds. Let's take a look. Yes. So there are the Joshua tree seeds. You can see it's very pulpy. So insects and birds are very attracted to this fruit, including the cactus wren. Ladies and gentlemen, the guitar that plays itself. All right, it's just about dinner time, but I'm gonna go on a little journey here. I got my trail cam and I'm looking to set it up for the night. And I've been looking for these kind of extra large holes that I believe either kit fox or badgers are living in. So I've got the cam attached to my shovel and go set it up for the night, turn it on, come back in the morning, and hopefully see some interesting nocturnal creatures on the video. All right, so we got the kit fox hole right there, and then we have the trail cam set up right here. It's about 20 feet away, so if those kit fox come out of the hole there, should trigger the cam, turn it on when they get out just beyond those bushes there.
Good morning, everybody. Woke up to some cloudy skies and even a little bit of precipitation. I think that's a good omen. All right, it is time to retrieve the trail cam and see if we had any visitors last night. Let's take a look. Nothing. Thought I set it up in the right place. Once again, the trail cam comes up empty. I thought for sure that there'd be something crawling out of that hole right there. Next time you go on a trip, if you're hoping to find things that most people just pass right by, make sure you listen with your 5 senses and your imagination. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next time.